The first of those, speaker number 11, is Marcus Gilmer. Many fans, many fans. Marcus originally hails from the bastion of high intellect, Alabama. After college, he moved to New Orleans, where he spent several years drinking, dodging streetcars, and trying not to look suspicious. And if you know Marcus, that's kind of hard. After losing his home as a result of Hurricane Katrina, and growing tired of living in the post-apocalypse, he traded his FEMA check for a case of Miller High Life and a one-way ticket to Chicago. He has since worked for Chicagoist, the AV Club, WBZ, and now the Chicago Sun-Times. I'd like to point out that's Marcus. He resides in Andersonville with his dog Franklin, where they read, write, and listen to Avril Lavigne records all night long. Marcus, how could you?
How could you? How could you leave me? Look at me, I'm awesome. Okay, I'm not the prettiest, especially in the swampy summer, but you always love my huge oak-lined streets, all the green. I'm Southern too. I know how you feel about your homeland. You're telling me you like trudging through snow and frozen muck for 9 months a year more than you like sweating? Was it something I said? One of those stupid, drunken, pseudo-Cajun platitudes like making groceries or your mama and Dim? You used to love those. Was it the boobs? How could it be the boobs? You love boobs. That's all you talked about. I know you didn't like that place, as you called it, but come on, man. That place was lousy with boobs. Was it the booze? I know you had a problem by the end, but just because I have drive-through daiquiri stands doesn't mean you have to literally drive through them. That one's on you. Besides, their football? Shit. Don't even talk to me about the football there. And you call that Sunday stroll they do a parade? Hell no. That's not a parade. That's fucking walking down a street. I bet you find my streets fading from your memory now, don't you? It's harder getting around when you come back, and that thought in the back of your mind starts to nag you, right? That thought that says, maybe you'll come crawling back. Maybe I won't notice you left when I needed you most. You think about it, I can tell by that look on your face. Yeah, I'm always going to be there, tucked in that corner of your mind, next to that nagging thought. It's cool, you're only human. But don't kill yourself about it. That's what happens. Time passes, things change. Besides, you're dwelling and no one likes a guy who can't let it go. It's been 8 years. People would rather hear you whine about Syria at this point. But I can also see the sadness as you get lost in your old neighborhood and you see how much changed. I wish I could say I think about it as much as you do, but I can't. You're either here or you're not. It's okay. I didn't wash away then and I won't wash away anytime soon. So I'll be here a while longer no matter what anyone says. If you ever want to talk about it, come on by. But if it's okay, I've got to move on. Because you're the one who left. Thanks.
Marcus Gilmer. Maggie Jenkins is a comic, storyteller, writer, and rapper. She performs stand-up regularly with The Kates, one of those shows I was mentioning you should go see. It's great. The Kates, which is a twice-monthly all-female comedy showcase, and she has also performed with the Chicago Women's Funny Festival, Zanies, Studio B, and the Lincoln Lodge. Maggie has been a featured storyteller at SA Fiesta, Tuesday Funk, of which I'm one of the co-hosts, first Tuesday of every month up at Hopleaf, yes, and Story Club, where she is voted the audience favorite. A 4-time Chicago marathoner. She is co-author of the blog RulesForRunning.com, and Maggie is 1/4 of She's Crafty, Chicago's all-female Beastie Boys tribute. That is right, give it up. That shit is awesome. Right now, though, she has 2 minutes to tell us, how could you? Maggie?
I couldn't. I wouldn't. I can't. Many a motivational quote says that in order to be successful, you have to eliminate the word can't from your vocabulary. While training for my first marathon, I was given that advice over and over. And yet here I am at mile 24, and all I can think of is can't. All of my energy is concentrating on can't. Maggie, you can't pee your pants. I've been running for 4+ hours in unseasonably warm October weather, drinking water at every stop along the way, when the urge to pee hit me hard. I scanned through the options in my mental Rolodex, which admittedly was not firing on all cylinders. 1, I could stop at the next aid station and use a porta potty. But this was my first marathon, and I was afraid if I stopped running, I physically wouldn't be able to start again. Or 2, I could try to hold it for another 2.2 miles. I decided on option 2, to hold off on going number 1. Every step is a strain on my bladder. Great, just another part of my body that's now in pain to go along with my intensely aching knees, hips, calves, ankles, feet, and back. And then I realized I am in danger of pissing myself in front of my friends, family, and a million strangers at the Chicago Marathon. That's when the can't takes over. Maggie, you can't pee your pants. The last mile is hell. It's hot and I hurt, and now I'm convinced I'm going to have a goddamn bladder infection to go along with my probably, but most likely, sprained ankle. I make the turn into Grant Park, and now it's only 800 meters between me and my goal. I kick into whatever semblance of a high gear I have left. Arms raised in a V, I cross the finish line. Yes! I did it! I ran the fucking Chicago Marathon! And then, in my most triumphant moment of joy, pain, and relief, I promptly pee my pants. I couldn't help it. Thank you.
Seriously, you guys need to check out She's Crafty. It is so great. All right. Speaker number 13 is Chris Courtney. A native of Arkansas, he's called Chicago home for the past 13 years. 13? Speaker 13? Hey, nice. I didn't do that on purpose. A former workaholic, he considers himself saved by fierce curiosity, which has had a transformational impact on his physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. But mainly he's just glad to be here, because he almost wasn't. That's funny. All right. The next 2 minutes are his to show us how could you. Chris Courtney.
First of all, I want to say that not being here would be hilarious. I am honored to be here tonight because I'm just a poor boy from the South, growing up in Arkansas, first person to graduate from my family, from college. How could I want more than that? And to have the chance to break into an industry that I wanted to work in so badly, to be a journalist, to make it to where people were stacking paper. 1998, we were stacking paper. How could I want more than that? And to bust my ass and make it all the way in 3 short years up to Chicago to work in the Tower, to be a journalist in the Tower after leaving that small town. How could I possibly want more than that? And to get a chance to win awards and lead an industry into a new age and build new things and be the leader and collect all the accolades that come with it. How could I want more than that? And then they want me to go teach. I'm up at Northwestern. I'm at Columbia. There are students looking at me for answers. They're calling me teacher. How could I want more than that? And then they say, you're good at the teacher thing. Why don't you go overseas? Why don't you travel around the world and tell the people how they should work? How could I want more than that? And then the iPhone drops. And they're like, hey man, you've got a lot of good ideas. Why don't you go take your print ideas and put them online, put them in your hands, put them around the planet? How could I want more than that? I'm ready to work. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to succeed. But something is wrong inside of me. And the doctors say, we'll take a look. Well, you're going to be all right. How could I want more than that, right? And then it's 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm looking for answers. And I'm finding nothing but negativity. But I am finding answers. How could I want more than that? And then I stop dreaming. And then I become comfortable with the fact that I'm not going to be here anymore. But it's okay. I'm at peace. How could I want more than that? Then the doctor says, I think we got an idea. I think we've got a chance. How could I want more than that? And then my family rallies. And then my family rallies around me. And my kid gives 0 shits about cancer. And mom comes up, last minute trip because just in case. How could I want more than that? And then my friends, many of you in this room step up and say, fuck you, cancer. To rally around me, thank you. How could I want more than that kind of support? But the chemo was hard. The chemo almost tore me down. But I had love all around me. How could I want more than that? And then they said, you are in remission, you are cured. How could I possibly want more than that? And then I fucking ate. Look at me. I put on some weight. Double cheese on everything. I'm alive. How can I want more than that? And then I'm like, you know what? I need to work smarter. I need to work different than I did before. I need to retrain my mind. I need to not be afraid of failure. I need to dive into code. And now I'm not scared. How could I want more than that? And then I said, after 38 years, I'm not going to be a fat ass anymore. I'm going to take control of my life. I'm going to take control of my body because I'm not going to let that cancer run back in at me. How could I want more than that? And then just last week, run 26.2 miles with many of you raising thousands of dollars to support my cause, to attack the cancer that attacks me. How could I want more than that? But more importantly, every day I walk my kid to school. Every day I walk her to school. How could I possibly want more than that? But possibly the most important thing I got is I got a group full of crazy monkeys surrounding me, calling me dad every night. Happy to see me, giving me hugs, giving me love. I ask you, how could you possibly want more than that? Thank you.
Jasmine Davila is a New Yorker who's been calling Chicago home for the last 19 years. You see the irony. When she wasn't procrastinating on updating her long-neglected blog, This Is Jasmine, or hosting a monthly picnic club in parks around town, she contributes to blogs such as Gaper's Block and Disgrazian.com. Jasmine has been honored to read for the live lit series Solo in the Second City, and as of next month, that's all she wrote. So, Jasmine, how could you?
Yeah, how could I follow Chris Courtney? That was amazing. That was my phone. You're awesome. I know, right? I'm ready. Let's go. So how could I? It was really fucking easy. I was 19. I was stupid and had a shitload of time on my hands. I was 19 and there was a boy. A boy that, I liked. And I was pretty sure that he liked me. I mean, we were, spending a lot of time in a basement on a ping pong table, occasionally shirtless. It's what we do. We went to coffee. I thought that, being 19, that we were together, because, I liked him. I liked him just so much. And And he liked me too, but not as much as he liked doing homework, being on the dean's list. Because this is the University of Chicago, and it's like, girls, dean's list, I come a very distant second. So, we sort of went our ways. We never visited the basement again, and, I'm sentimental, so I didn't go to the basement with anybody else either. But, as okay as I said I was with that, I wasn't okay. And then one day I was reading this book by Penn and Teller, the magicians. And it was a book that described all their tricks and things that you could do to get back at people or to, I don't know, amuse people. And I thought, why don't I get back at someone but do it sort of anonymously by making a heart-shaped Jell-O that I would leave for the boy from the basement, that when you cut into it would spurt blood all over the recipient, because I thought that was a normal reaction. Again, I was 19 and stupid, and now I'm 37 and maybe not as stupid. So I went and did it. Friends thought it was hilarious. They helped me make the Jell-O. They helped me mix up the fake blood and get it in the mold. Leave it at his in front of his dorm room, knock on the door, run away, whatever. That's fine. 10 years later, I'm friends with this dude, on Facebook, and we email sometimes, and it's okay. And he straight up asks me, do you know something about a bleeding heart Jell-O? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's crazy. What kind of crazy fucking bitch would do that? This one right here, I said to myself. So I guess, the thing is that the answer to the question is how could you? It was, again, easily, I had time, I was stupid, I had access to gelatin and to corn syrup and lots of food dye. There's nothing I would do differently except maybe if he asked me again, I'm not going to give him the opportunity. It's not like I'm going to email and be like, hey, guess what I actually did that I lied about 10 years ago. I'm going to say I did it, because, I'm not a liar anymore. And that if I had to do it again, maybe I would do it because it was a lot of fun, but I think that I would probably just sort of take that sadness and that self-pity and all that bullshit, and instead of making a single Jell-O mold for a guy who didn't really give a shit and give too much of a shit about me, would make just a shitload of heart-shaped Jell-O shots and give it to people, like you guys who are listening to me, or people who actually like me, so we could all do Jell-O shots together and find more boys to take to the basement. Thank you.
Davila. Our next speaker is Britt Julius. Britt is a born and bred Chicagoan with a curiosity for weird synthy music, shiny clothes, indulgent food, and snappy pieces of really, really good writing. She splits her time writing and co-hosting a podcast for WBEZ, freelancing for various local and national publications and sites such as Pitchfork, BuzzFeed, and Flaunt Magazine. And she also works a day job in research. In 2012, The Reader named her the city's best local writer who excels at social media. She is a champion for the underdog and a proud black hippie. Britt, the next 2 minutes are yours.
On September 27th, I turned 26, and with that birthday came a moment of maturity. How could you do that, you ask? You're right, and so I apologize to all, and I counted 113 classmates and friends I've wronged since elementary school, starting with his words. Pause. There we go. Okay, Brian, 2nd grade. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for pantsing you in front of your friends in gym class. That was probably very embarrassing for you, but, you called me Shamu within my first week at a new school, and so, really, I think you had it coming. Emily, 3rd grade, I would hate me too if I was punched at Girl Scouts camp. I did that, yes, and so that was pathetic of me. I am a nonviolent person now, but, I apologize. But remember, my sister lent me the only Beanie Baby my family could afford, because we're from the hood, right? And you stole it from me, and because you thought it would be funny, I punched you, so maybe actually you had it coming. So. grade. So remember when I yanked your hair so hard that your weave came out? I'm apologizing right now. Even though you said that my nose was too big, and my lips were too big, and my body, and my skin. You know what? Okay. I take it back. We're close to calling it even, but if I saw you again, let's just, okay. Hernando, okay. Seriously though, when I used my mom's combo dictionary thesaurus to look up the word stupid and for synonyms and told everyone in the class to call you the different names that I found, that was not cool. That was the worst. That was terrible. I'm still reaping the karma for that one. But maybe I'm not, because I first used the dictionary side of my mom's combo thesaurus dictionary to look up the word bitch, because that's what you called me every day in the 4th grade. So actually, I don't think that we're close to where we need to be at all. No. So we're going to skip ahead to junior high, because I think that, we're going to skip ahead to high school, because I think every time that I did something in junior high, it was worth it. It was, people had it coming. I'm not going to atone for any of those sins. You know what? Actually, we're out of time. So, maybe again, I'll get down to the rest of my list.
Man, don't get on her bad side. But then again, they all deserved it, right? Yes. Our next speaker, is Creighton Berman. He is a thinker, a maker, a drawer, and a doer. Or perhaps more formally, an industrial designer, illustrator, and creative director. His work is a diverse mix of visual thinking, object making, and storytelling, all linked to a basic desire to simply bring ideas to life. Creighton has design work in the permanent collection at the Art Institute of Chicago, has contributed illustration to Dwell, Details, and Wired, and has launched 2 products on Kickstarter, taught a writing workshop to Disney Imagineering, and has a YouTube video with over 1 million views. And now he has 2 minutes to tell you, how could you? Here's Creighton Berman.
Hi, my name is Creighton Berman, and I have some ideas. How could you enjoy a hot sandwich without leaving your desk? Grilled cheese ready as you get through your email, and a lot of laptops get hot enough to do this already. So, how could you make it easier to get breakfast at your desk? Donuts in the morning, French fries all days long. How could you make laptops a little more fun to have in your lap? I believe that's called ergonomics. And since we're talking about work, how could you make it easier to find a power source for all those things? I think it could work. How could you find a new use for that old iPad that's completely outdated now? And I think it would make a pretty nice cheese board as well. And speaking of workplaces, how could you class up the men's restroom a little bit? Mid-century charm. And speaking of that room, how could you avoid unpleasant smells in your day-to-day? Maybe just using something as simple as your smartphone. Also, very useful for a CTA commute. Speaking of noses, how could you make better use of unwanted facial hair? And I say if you got it, flaunt it. And as attractive as that would look, I think, how could you make the most attractive shoe in the world? Which, if you do a search on Zappos, I'm sure would come up. And speaking of Zappos and packages, how could you make receiving packages just a little more fun? I have the tagline, snack while you unpack. And now we're talking about food again, so I'll round it up. I think pizza's great, but there's never enough of it. So how could you get more slices in one order? You order it by the roll. It should be totally functional, but not all that impressive. So I think if you really want to impress people, this is the way you should serve pizza. Those are some ideas.
Our next speaker is Jen Rourke. Jen is a web producer. Some fans? I like it. Jen is a web producer for WLS-TV's ABC7Chicago.com and WindyCityLive.com. She is also the production director and a DJ at Chirp Radio. Any Chirp fans in the audience? It's an independent online community station based here in North Center. Jen is most recently helped. She had most recently helped coordinate the relaunch of Chirp Radio's first-time live lit story series right here in Martyrs, right on this stage. 2 weeks ago, I think? Yeah. Jen says she's never told a true story to a public audience before. Only a made-up story at a big, mandatory Catholic high school retreat. However, she's now going to tell you and us, how could you, Jen?
The title of my essay is, How Could You Be Mistaken for Your Dad's Wife and Teenage Daughter in the Same Day? My dad and I were flying to Minnesota, and my dad is 55. He looks 55, and for good measure, he wears the old man fedora with the wide brim, and he loves sweater vests. I was 29, and in preparation for my impending milestone birthday, I had decided to revamp my wardrobe. I'd been accused of dressing like a child. My sister may have told me once, you're supposed to show cleavage, not clavicle. So I bought lower necklines, taller shoes, and I got rid of most of my baseball caps, which I used to love to wear. So we're boarding the flight, and the ticket agent tears my dad's ticket. Have a good flight, Mr. Rourke. And then it's my turn. Have a good flight, Mrs. Rourke. Huh? I was mortified. So somewhere between the flight and the rental car, I got out one of my old baseball caps, and I put it back on. I also zipped up my hoodie, past my little tank top, and took off as much makeup as I could. So we arrive at the hotel, and it's a Sunday afternoon, and we want to know where we can watch the Bears game. So after we've gotten our room keys, my dad asks, where can we go? The desk clerk looks at us. He looks at my dad, and he looks at me, and he says, well, there's a very cool sports bar just down the street, but I'm not sure if they'll let in anybody under 21. Thank you.
One more round for Jen Rourke. Thank you. We're almost done. We're still running ahead of time. This is great. By the way, there's a concert after this. 4 bands. There's a pile of xylophones back here. I believe if you want to stick around, you could. I think, right? Is that true? At the door? I think so. Yeah. So stick around if you'd like. Anyway. Molly Adams is co-host of Vocalo's flagship talk show, The Morning Amp. Ow! Vocalo is listenable, I guess. You can hear it on 89.5 FM, and I didn't imply that it's not unlistenable. It's not unlistenable. I did not mean that it's unlistenable. I'm so sorry. You can find Vocalo at 89.5 FM and 90.7 FM on your radio dial, which is all I meant. It's Chicago Public Media's station that covers news and public affairs for a younger urban audience. Molly has worked as a public radio reporter and producer since high school, covering the 2004 presidential elections from New Hampshire to New York for her community station in Maine. She's contributed to NPR News from Colorado, Maine, and Illinois, telling stories about evangelical church scandals, the outdoor sports economy, and living without health insurance. Molly, you have 2 minutes to tell us, how could you? How could you?
Andrew Huff, who personally said he listens to my show instead of the morning shift now. Anyhow.
He does.
Contrary to my appearance, which I think looks put together, I've had this dilemma a few times, and I thought I'd share with you guys some tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. How could you turn a filthy apartment or house into a clean apartment or house in a very short amount of time? Okay, this has happened in a lot of different forms since I was a teenager. So with any emergency, you need to triage, all right? Triage. What is the mess that's going to kill you? Like, criminal evidence, there could be drug paraphernalia, a murder, signs of an affair you want to get rid of, like a Kalahari of cat litter on your bathroom floor that's going to kill you, severely moldy shower curtains. What is the mess that will be damaging to your relationship, but ultimately you can kind of clean it up? We're thinking moldy dishes, there's underwear on the bathroom floor, and then what is like totally normal mess? Unmade beds, papers on your office. So that's the first thing you need to do when you need to assess. The most important thing to target is smells, everybody. That's our most evocative sense. So this is probably the most concrete advice I'm going to give you. Beeswax candles, they're neutralizers, as opposed to like an air freshener, so you don't just smell like lemon scent and buttholes. Like it's just neutral. Like open your windows, light a beeswax candle. That's going to help. And then there's a lot of sacrifice involved in this when you have to clean really quickly. So find the smelliest thing in your fridge. Like take the Tupperware, just put it in the trash. Just put it in the trash. Go into your bathroom, find the stinky towels, just like put them in a bag, put them in your closet. There's also a lot of superficiality in this cleaning. You're just going to take all your clothes in your room, put them in the closet. The towels go into the closet as well. Storage is your friend. Tabletop clutter, put it in a bag, put it in the closet. That's important. If you have a roommate, that's really good to blame them in that respect. If there's general clutter. Flush your toilet. Really obvious thing, but you should probably flush your toilet and look at the mold threat levels on the shower and possibly throw it away. Another sacrifice. And down to the wire, you kind of have to decide, is it vacuuming or dishes? And I vote for vacuuming. Don't sweep where you can vacuum, guys. And if you can contain the dishes to the sink, that's what you can chip away at when this person who you're cleaning for, or the homeowner, arrives back, and you can be like, oh my god, sorry for the mess. It looks okay though, right? That's it, I'm done, I'm out of time. Thank you.
Oh man, I'm in so much trouble. Now for our next video. Amaya Pawar is alderman of the 47th Ward, which we are sitting in right now. He is the first Asian American alderman in Chicago, elected to succeed Eugene Schulter in 2011. Prior to his election, Mr. Pawar was on staff at Northwestern University in the Office of Emergency Management, where he was responsible for the development of a university-wide business community program. He is unfortunately not able to join us tonight. He's not physically present. However, he did give us this video asking a certain group of people, how could you?
Hi, my name is Amaya Pawar. I'm the alderman of the 47th Ward. Meet Baby. She's the official dog of the 47th Ward. Baby is a rescue pit bull who's about 5.5 years old. And she was found wandering the streets a few years ago and taken to a kill shelter where they were going to euthanize her within 72 hours. She was so sweet to the staff there that they saved her and kept her there for 3 months until she was adopted, and again, now she's living here happily and peacefully in the 47th Ward. But Baby's had a rough past. She was used to breed other fighting dogs. She has scars all over her body, and it's taken her some time to get used to her new surroundings. So the question that I have for people like Michael Vick and the people that fight pit bulls is, how could you fight dogs? How can you look at a dog like this in the eye? How could you look at this dog and think, you know what, let's breed her and fight her till the death? So I encourage all of you to get involved with the Chicago Bullyland Rescue, and I also think for the people who are for breed-specific legislation or banning dogs like her, how could you think that this is the kind of dog that we should be banning in Chicago and Illinois? Pit bulls are amazing family dogs. They're amazing companions, and I just hope that we do more to save dogs like this. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to vent on this issue. My name is Amanda Poir, and I approve this message.
I know you really wanted to be here, you just got stuck being an alderman. So we are at our last, but certainly not least, reader for this evening. More? And it would be like 25 by 2 or something. I can't do more. Steve Delahoyd is a veteran of 20 by 2, both in Chicago and down in Austin. Steve splits his time between running his production company, Delahoyd Projects, and working on projects like Field Notes at Kudal Partners. He's shot lots of commercials, documentaries, short films, and lots of other things. And he can be found at thehoyd.com. That's Hoyde, thehoyd. Here he is to tell us, how could you, Steve?
Thank you all for coming. I know this has been a difficult last couple of days. We still don't know where my father is, but we did find this letter on his desk, and I felt like it was important to share with all of you here. If you're hearing this now, it means the worst has happened and my son is reading you this letter. Although he's long been one of my most trusted advisors, I want none of what is happening to reflect upon him. He is a good boy, and the company's current state is due to my negligence and my negligence alone. Do not blame him. First, I need to announce that the company is no more. As of 1 minute ago, we have formally dissolved. Your jobs are gone, as are your retirement packages, and even the building has been sold. My apologies for being so abrupt, but that is the grim situation we find ourselves in. I wish to apologize for this and for the sole reason it seems to have happened. Because I so carelessly pushed forward on the company's new mascot, Woody Woodpecker. A bird-like character which I devised myself who likes to look at wood. I greatly appreciate the many of you who came to me, desperately informing me of another apparently famous character who, unlike the Woody Woodpecker, likes to peck at instead of merely look at wood. I had never heard of him. You begged me not to spend so much money creating and cultivating our new mascot, as he could be perceived as blatant copy, but I was too invested. You'll recall that the copyright attorneys were here, threatening severe legal action. I doubled down and bought an ad during the Super Bowl featuring Woody Woodpecker, which introduced to the world both he and his catchphrase, "Ha ha ha, what's up, doctor?" This, for some reason, seemed to compound the issue and involve more lawsuits, and along with all the thousands upon thousands of pallets of Woodpecker t-shirts and keychains I foolishly ordered, would prove our ultimate undoing. In the last 3 weeks since I came up with Woody Woodpecker, we have become so mired in legal debt that we can no longer continue. Millions have been drained, and I have cost all of you your livelihoods. All because I thought it was a good idea for a mascot for this, the steel company my great-great-grandfather started. I thank you for your service, and I so strongly wish now that I had gone with my second choice for a mascot, Mickey Moose. Or even my third, Hop-Eye the Navy Boy. Yours truly, Stanley Delahoyd.
So that's it. That's 20 by 2. Thank you very much to all of our speakers, which I will now read to you in order. Randy Agerbeck and Chad Calise, Felix Young, Leah Jones, Megan Steelstra, Anna Elizabeth Moore, Scott Smith, Marissa Waselek, Jenny Procopi, GPA, Kevin Newsom, Marcus Gilmer, Maggie Jenkins, Chris Courtney, Jasmine Davila, Rick Julius, Karen Berman, and Steve Dillahoy. Thank you all for coming. And really quick, I want to give a big round of thank you to Mike Ewing right here at the computer. Ryan Wood here, timing everybody, making sure everybody stays on time. And our speaker wranglers right over here, Shelley Knight and Jessica Palmer. Jessica happens to be the host of That's All She Wrote, and that'll be coming up. They just celebrated their first anniversary. It'll be coming up when? When's the next one? November 10th. Join us at the Swim Cafe, and Jasmine will be reading. Jasmine Davila.
Good job, Andrew. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Wow. Well, thank you. So, if you enjoy events like this, there's this great website I can tell you about. It's gapersblock.com. You may have heard of it. There are some great events. We have a curated calendar. You don't have to sort through drink specials to find all the cool stuff that's happening every week. We also do events like this. We run, or we present, Tuesday Funk. TuesdayFunk.org. It's the first Tuesday of every month at Hopleaf. Please join us there. And we have another event coming right up on November 2nd. I see many of you have beers. May you be interested in going on a microbrewery crawl? Yeah. So we're going to be going on November 2nd to Lake Effect, Finch's Metropolitan and Dry Hop Gastropub, or brew pub, I suppose, where we'll be touring these facilities, sampling their beers, and learning more about what makes each brewery different and special. So join us. The information's up on gapersblock.com. I thank you once again. Please have another beer and then disperse. Thank you for coming to 20 by 2.